Are you concerned about what the future holds for you and your loved ones? For example, you may be reading a lot of things online about the climate, about nuclear war, things along that line. Well, you're not alone. A lot of people are concerned. In this video, I'm going to talk about what are the 4 greatest threats to humanity. And I'm going to do it in such a way, I'm going to try to simplify it and do it in such a way that it becomes easy to understand so you can understand what the real threats to humanity are. So stay tuned. I'm Lou Del Monte, the host of Savvy Life Strategies, and I invite you to subscribe and hit the notification bell to get more videos just like this. Now, why should you believe anything I have to say about the 4 greatest threats to humanity? Well, I have 2 books out already that talk about 2 of the greatest threats to humanity, and I have a 3rd book coming out this November, published by Prometheus, about one of the other threats, and I'll cover those, and I'll put links to the books below. The point is, I'm an author and a scientist, and I have actually studied what are the greatest threats to humanity. First, let's understand one thing, that the greatest threats to humanity aren't what a lot of people think they are. They aren't, for example, what you see in the movies, an asteroid coming toward the Earth and going to impact the Earth, or a supervolcano blowing up and killing everybody and that kind of thing. Those have a very small probability of occurring. Scientists estimate about a 1 in 50,000 chance, okay? The threats that I'm talking about, when you take them together, 4 of them taken together, approach nearly a 1 in 5 shot of causing humanity to go extinct in the 21st century. The data that I'll use, I'm taking from the 2008, the experts surveyed at the Global Catastrophic Risk Conference. And they came together, Nick Bostrom and some of his colleagues came together and they started discussing what are the 4 greatest threats to humanity. The first is molecular nanotechnology weapons. Now, those are weapons that have components that have features smaller than the diameter of your hair. Now, you may never have heard of those. There's another name for them. It's called nanoweapons. And it turns out that I wrote the first book on this new class of weapons. The United States has been working on nanoweapons for almost 20 years and actually has the lead in this particular area. The thing to know about them is that as a class of weapons, they have the potential to be just as deadly as nuclear weapons. The second is superintelligence. What is superintelligence? Well, it's computers, it's artificial intelligence that's become actually smarter than all of us combined. And when that occurs, that's called the singularity. Ray Kurzweil was the one who first talked about the singularity occurring. It's a one-time occurrence. It's never occurred before, and it will never occur again. But it's artificial intelligence becoming smarter than all of us put together. Now, what happens when that happens? Well, basically, superintelligence could say, well, these humans, they're not a very stable species. Maybe we should worry about them because they shoot off nuclear weapons and they release computer viruses and they threaten one another. Maybe we don't need them anymore. We're pretty good on our own. Maybe we should get rid of these parasitic humans. That's the threat that superintelligence may pose to humanity. My 3rd book, The Artificial Intelligence Revolution, was one of the first to come out and say, yes, superintelligence could be dangerous to humanity, could threaten humanity. And after that book came out, others came out also. And I don't think they were copying me. I think they came to the same conclusions independently. Stephen Hawking came out and said artificial intelligence could be a threat to humanity. Nick Bostrom came out and said artificial intelligence could be a threat to humanity. So a number of people have come out now, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, the list goes on and on. People now believe that artificial intelligence could be a threat to humanity. When I published the book in 2014, my first editor said I was being an alarmist, and the publisher actually fired that editor and got a different editor. And it turned out that my book became an Amazon #1 bestseller, and it was covered nationwide in various articles, and I appeared on radio shows, television, and so on. So it became a popular subject in the thinking of people that, well, we could have machines that are smarter than we are, and they could be a threat to us. The third threat are wars. Now, this is obvious, right? When we have wars in the past, hundreds of thousands of people have died in past world wars. Well, if we were to have a true world war, a large conflict between two capable adversaries, then it could spell the end of humanity, because when you exchange nuclear weapons, for example, China has about 600 nuclear weapons. If they explode those nuclear weapons aimed at us and we retaliate aimed at them, or any number of scenarios, Russia and China fighting each other, any number of scenarios, that those nuclear weapons will throw up so much debris into the atmosphere that those that are not killed by the initial shock of the weapon itself, the blast and the radiation of the weapon itself, will die either from the radiation of the fallout or from the fact that they're going to go through a nuclear winter that could last 10 years, that the sun is blocked out for that length of time. You can't raise crops, and as a result, the livestock is going to die, and as a result, humans are not going to be able to eat. And it's going to be hard then for humanity to survive. So wars are a threat, and any idea that, hey, you can win a nuclear war, that's way off base, because if you have a real nuclear exchange between two capable adversaries, it poses a real threat to the survival of all of humanity. The last one I'll talk about are engineered pandemics, and that is these super germs that some countries have developed, and we were developing for a while, and now that type of research is on hold. We're not doing it anymore. But if a certain kind of bacteria, a certain virus, were to escape and get into the wild, so to speak, back into the population, it could be so deadly that with today's air travel and how interconnected we are and how fast we can get from one place to another, the whole world could be infected in a matter of just days. So the idea that an engineered pandemic could destroy humanity. Now, what are the probabilities of these? If you look at nanoweapons destroying humanity, the Global Risk Conference gave that a 5%. If you look at artificial intelligence destroying humanity, they gave that, it was tied with #1, they gave that a 5%. If you look at wars, that was very close. They gave that a 4% probability. And engineered pandemics, they gave a 2% probability. If you add those up, it's 16%. Now, all the other risks come up to 20%. Well, you might say, well, thanks a lot, Lou. That was a really cheery video you just gave us. Well, I'm trying to actually give you information. And that is that some very, very insightful people, essentially professors at Oxford and people from other walks of life, came together at the Global Risk Conference in 2008 and said, these are the top 4 things that could do humanity in. Now, why is it important to know these? Well, if you know it, forewarned is forearmed. I've been, for one, very concerned about these threats, and what I'm doing in response to those concerns is I'm writing books about it and I'm making videos like this. Now, you might ask, what can you do? Well, actually, you can make a difference. One person can make a difference. Now that you watch this video, I suggest you read some of the articles that I've listed below and become better informed. An informed electorate is really important to a democracy. And as an informed electorate, we can then gravitate toward leaders that are also informed, that express our views. Well, I'm going to wrap it up here. Now, if you found this video informative, I'd like you to subscribe to get more videos like this. Click the notification bell so that you're notified as soon as they come out. and give it a thumbs up so that other people know that this is a valuable video. Until we have a chance to talk again, stay savvy and live well.